You know who you are. You're the one everyone relies on. The rock in every storm, right? The person who just handles things. And people look at you and they say, I just don't know how you do it. They mean it as a compliment, of course, but they don't see the cost, do they? They don't feel that crushing weight you carry after everyone else has gone home. Well, if you are so tired of holding it all together for everyone else, then this is for you.
This quote, wow, it just hits right at the heart of the whole thing. The very identity that earns you so much respect might actually be the source of your most private struggle. So today, we're going to unpack that exact paradox.
Okay, so let's talk about this armor you wear. To the outside world, you are the definition of capable. But let's be real, this role probably wasn't something you chose. It feels more like it was assigned to you, doesn't it? You learned somewhere along the way that being the reliable one was the safest way to be loved. And bit by bit, that pressure became your whole identity.
I want you to think of this strength like a literal suit of armor. In a crisis, hey, it's a gift. It helps you function, it helps you support others, and it keeps everything from just completely falling apart. But armor is heavy. And when you've been wearing it for so long, you kind of forget how to take it off. You might not even remember what it feels like to not be carrying all that weight.
You know, this feeling of being constantly on all the time, it comes with a price, a kind of hidden tax. So let's break down the 3 major costs you're paying in silence.
Right, so this cost, it shows up in 3 really distinct ways. A deep sense of disconnection, a nagging, persistent anxiety, and a pretty profound physical toll on your body. We're going to look at each one.
First up, there's disconnection. See, that same armor that makes you seem so strong also builds a wall. And you get so good at playing the part that you can actually start to feel like a stranger in your own life. You know, you're listening to a friend's heartbreak or solving a family crisis, and all the while you're feeling, well, completely numb inside. And this isn't just some vague feeling, okay? It actually has a name. Some experts call it a functional freeze. It's a survival mechanism where you're just going through the motions, but you're not really living them. And here's the kicker. When you numb all the pain and the overwhelm, you accidentally block out the joy and the connection too. And that creates a really painful kind of loneliness. So the next cost is anxiety. Now, you'd think someone who is always in control would be calm, right? But it's almost always the exact opposite. Being the strong one keeps your nervous system in the state of chronic high alert. Your mind is always scanning for the next fire to put out, which is exactly why you can never seem to fully, truly relax. And what's so important to understand here is that this anxiety isn't just random stress. No, it's rooted in a really deep fear that if you drop even one single ball, everything is going to collapse. It's that terrifying little thought in the back of your mind that if you stop being useful, maybe you'll stop being loved. And finally, we have to talk about the physical toll. Because all that unexpressed sadness, that swallowed anger, that constant grinding pressure, it has to go somewhere. And it does. Your body keeps the score of all the stress your mind tries so hard to ignore. And that stress, it shows up in very real physical ways. We're talking chronic headaches, digestive problems, always getting sick because your immune system is shot, and a fatigue that is so deep that no amount of sleep can ever seem to fix it. These aren't just minor complaints, you know? This is your body literally screaming for a rest that your mind refuses to give it.
And the consequences are serious. I mean, check this out. One really stark 12-year study found that people who consistently suppress their emotions have a more than 30% higher risk of earlier mortality from all causes, including cancer. So you see, this isn't just about feeling bad, it's a matter of life and health.
Okay, so that brings us to the turning point. We've looked at the heavy costs, but now we're going to pivot to the insight that can actually unlock the solution.
This is the question, isn't it? The one you've probably asked yourself 1,000 times in the middle of the night. If you hold it all together for everybody else, why does it feel like your own life is about to shatter into a million pieces? The answer to this is probably the most important thing you need to hear.
Your strength, it is not a character flaw. It's a role you learn to play to survive. Psychologists have a term for this idea. They call it survival-based maturity. It's basically a set of skills you developed probably pretty early on in an environment where your own needs just weren't being met or it wasn't safe to express them. You became the rock because you had to. You really had no other choice. And this right here, this is the aha moment. The myth we all believe is that this strength is just who you are. But the truth, it's a strategy you learned. And the moment you see it as a strategy, not some permanent part of your personality,
you get your power back. Think about it. You can't change who you fundamentally are, but you can absolutely change a strategy that just doesn't serve you anymore.
So healing isn't about becoming weak. Not at all. It's about redefining what strength even means. And that journey starts by giving yourself the exact same compassion you so freely give to everyone else. It all starts with these 3 permissions.
These are the practical steps forward. First, you need permission to feel. Second, permission to just be human. And third, permission to set boundaries. So what do these actually look like in real life? Let's get into it.
Okay, first, permission to feel. Your anger, that's a signal that a boundary has been crossed. Your sadness, that's a sign that something needs to be grieved. Your exhaustion, that's your body literally begging you to rest. See, your emotions aren't weaknesses. They are valuable data. And listening to them is the very first step to reconnecting with your true self.
Second, and this is a big one, give yourself permission to be human. You hold yourself to a standard you would never, ever demand of anyone else. You are allowed to not have all the answers. You are allowed to say, I can't, or I need help. Asking for help isn't failure. It's actually a sign of incredible self-awareness.
And finally, permission to set boundaries. And I want you to burn this into your brain. Boundaries are not selfish. They are the ultimate act of self-respect. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care about other people. It just means you care enough about yourself to protect your own well-being.
Your whole life, you have been standing up for other people. You've been the pillar, the anchor, the safe harbor in the storm. But that strength was never, ever meant to be a cage. It was meant to be a foundation to build your own life on.
Look, this journey isn't easy, and you really don't have to do it alone. If any of this resonated with you today, if you felt seen, I want you to just write one word in the comments. Seen. It's a simple way for us to acknowledge each other and to remember that this is a shared human experience.
Let's end on this thought. True strength isn't about how much you can carry in silence. It's the courage to be vulnerable. It's the bravery to admit you're not okay, and it's the wisdom to know that you are just as worthy of care as everyone you spend your life caring for. That armor, it served its purpose, but now you have a choice. You can set it down.